key saw style melodies. So I'll always like think when I'm making a melody, how would that play out if I was playing it on a key saw? So like a lot of the you know, slides and things will only be two semitones, which basically on my key saw, like two semitones up is the maximum it'll go. You can say it to others, but that's generally what sounds good with most melodies. And vibrato, yeah. That puts emphasis on the note and makes it sound, stand out and sound cool. I'll set that here. There we go. Alright. Now I've linked the vibrato thing to the FL Studio's pattern editor thing. So this corresponds to how much vibrato on a single note is. So we'll put vibrato on this last note here. And that's way too much, like that's really too fast. So yeah, we need to slow that down a bit. Yeah, that's great. So we'll find a speed that sounds alright with that note. Well, sounds alright with this tempo. And we'll dip the depth a bit too. That sounds good. It's not that basically. We'll continue the melody on. Usually with melodies, said this on last time, I usually work on a 1-2-1-3 pattern, which is basically the first section of a melody is repeated twice, and like the second section is different both times. So if if the same pattern repeats twice, this small section will be different than this section. So that's generally how it works. Again. And I'll end that sort of section there and go into a different one. I'll head off where I was before, except replace the lead with something else. Copy the drums over as well. I'll make new things with this again. Not sure what I'm going for right now, so I'll just sort of experiment with creating a sound with methods. I don't want to play for that.
question.
Yeah, if anyone
I'm looking
has
lonely over
anything to say.
here.
No.
I said, I'm lonely over here. Oh.
I mean, that just tells me that I'm explaining everything well, so you're all completely, have no idea what I'm talking about and don't even know what facts. So. Yeah.
Hey!
Yeah. Wait, don't ask.
Would you do the same process when you do your own songs?
Well, right now, basically, it's kind of, I'm not really remixing anything in this section, but my process is very different for each song I start. Like, I'll start with a different element for each track. For a lot of sort of dancier stuff, I'll usually start with the bass line first. With sort of poppy stuff, I'll start with vocal melodies and or lead sounds or a chord progression. And generally just go from there. Usually when I'm starting, I usually start the most climactic part of the song, so either the chorus or whichever part will be the most intense. So that makes it easier to finish songs. You don't need to make anything better than that. You can just make things dialed down a bit for that and leave that for the big section. So that's also how it works. What was that? Okay. The whole thing. This is FL Studio. The first sort of digital audio workstation I learned. To me, it's the easiest to use just because that's the one I learned first. I have used other ones, and I found it kind of difficult to transition to using those. Since FL Studio is it's very unique in the way the workflow works. Normally with normal DAWs, digital audio workstations, they'll have these tracks at the side will be assigned to one specific element. So what is here, this section, the big, where all the instruments are and sounds, this would be here instead. And you can only write in that part. So generally, you'll have tons of things over here in specific DAWs. FL Studio works in a way that you can put anything wherever you want. So if I wanted my drum samples all the way down here, I could have. But that also means it's going to be very messy. I've never finished a project and looked at it and not, felt a bit of vomit come up. Things do get very messy in FL Studio. But you can stop that if you're an organized person, which I'm not. But people usually I've moved this and we're really going to put that down. There we go. The way people work usually in FL Studio, you can color things and make them rainbow colors if you really want. So you can color all your tracks for specific elements like bass, drums, whatever. I'm going to just make it my OC color because I'm cool and I like my OC, which you should buy. Over the table. That's going to take a while, so that's good enough for me. I think I answered the question. So. Is this free download? Huh? Is it free download? FL Studio is not. I got it when it was on sale. I can't remember where it was on sale, but I think I got it for £80. This is not my version, but the version I've got is Producer Edition. It doesn't come with a lot of effects, but I work around that by having third-party effects that are usually free, or I purchase at another time when, like, I never buy things when they're full price. I always look out for sales because software is very expensive. And yeah, like I have Massive and Razor, which I got, which was on half price sale as well. Yeah.
I got two FM Studio 11 producer systems, but I don't have the plugin Massive. Where did you get it?
From Native Instruments. They, like, I don't remember when it wasn't too long back, but they had a half price sale. But yeah, Massive is from Native Instruments, which do a lot of really cool synths that I really enjoy, especially Razor as well. That's another synth that I got into recently. I don't have it on here, so I can't show it yet, but it's basically a different type of synthesis, which is called additive. I'm not the best to explain what that is. I know what FM synthesis is and subtractive synthesis, but I don't really know what additive is. I couldn't explain it to you, but it just sounds cool. That's all I can say in terms of that. And there's also FM8 from Native Instruments, which is the frequency modulator synth they have.
You mentioned free software.
Uh-huh.
I was actually still using free software.
Yeah, I use a lot of free software, to be honest. Like, I have the two main ones that I use here, which is like for reverb, I use Classic Reverb, which is a free plugin. It's just simple reverb, but it sounds nice, so I use that. And I also use Retro Delay, which is a delay unit for like echoes and things. That also sounds very cool, and is also freeware. Yeah. I'm trying to think of what else. Other free plugins that I use is Synth 1. That's a very cool synth. It's just a basic subtractive synth, but it's very powerful if you know your way around the subtractive synthesizer. That's free as well. I use that generally when Massive is too taxing on my CPU. Synth 1 is very light on it, so I'll use that for like super sort of simple sounds or anything really cool, like acid kind of sound. It does that really well. So those are the main three sort of freeware things that I use that I can think of right now. If anyone has any questions, alright.
Yeah, I was just talking about so when you create something like this, it seems quite free flowing and sort of do you find that comes quite naturally? I don't know the background in music theory or anything.
I can't say if it's natural or not, because it's like everyone sort of works differently, and that melody was sort of the one thing when I started out, was the one thing I sort of cling to really fast, and sort of like I'd make a lot of melodies and everything else would sound really bad, but I'd listen back to really old stuff that I made, and I'll always think that is a really cool melody that I do that. Beyond the Garden was a melody that I made back in 2008, and so that's I can't say if everyone's going to be natural at melodies or not, or if it's just me or anything, but that is generally. I think it's also due to the music that I listen to. Like I listen to a lot of music that have just single lead melodies, that one single synth line that really catchy melodies like that. So I think it comes from influence as well, and inspiration. Yeah.
Just sort of jump in and experiment.
Yeah, definitely. Like with music, experimentation is very key. I do it all the time. It's very important for me to experiment to grow as a musician and learn new techniques and things like that. Did you find someone else or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hello.
Yeah.
You said you work with FM8, is that correct?
Yeah, well, I don't use it very much, but I know how it works, and I have used it on occasion, yeah.
How did you wondering, could you expand on the maybe the basics on FM8 and
I can explain the basics of FM synthesis, which FM8 does, so that will be, Fruity Loops comes with, some versions do come with this, it's called Citrus. This is an FM synth. FM synthesis works through a matrix, which is this section here. What FM synthesis is, which is the name itself, is frequency modulation. So one oscillator, instead of being stacked on top of another one, like subtractive synthesis and just add it on, it will modulate the frequency of the previous oscillator. So I'll put this to the initial patch. So what we have here is just a sine wave. And the second one, the second oscillator here is called operator 2. You can, using the matrix, you can add this oscillator into the other one, which will basically modulate the frequency of the last one, so it makes a very harsh sort of sound. So yeah, it sort of gets really harsh. So and the idea is to sort of like modulate these in a way that sounds cool. So also FM8 is very useful for like bell sounds, which I've forgotten how to make, so I couldn't really explain through that, but that's generally how FM synthesis works. It just adds a oscillator onto another one. Well, it doesn't add, it modulates one oscillator with another one. So it can make some pretty crazy sounds. Like the classic, dubstep yoy sounds can be made really easily through this, which I remembered just before this panel, so I'll demonstrate that really quick. This one's a triangle wave. Put this into it. We can modulate you can modulate how much like one oscillator goes into another one, so that creates that kind of sound. The oscillator needs to be here, I think. With Citrus, which is really cool, which FM8 can't do, is in each oscillator you can add harmonics into it, which is essentially adding another oscillator into that oscillator, but in its own window. So you can essentially have, like, I just added God knows how many oscillators into that wave there. FM8 wouldn't be able to replicate that in the same manner. You could get something similar, but this is really really useful to me. Maybe initial I need this down. Volume. It's that really robotic kind of. It sounds really cool and super simple to make. So FM is really cool for like really interesting bass sounds. You should search out, I think been mentioned in a lot of musician channel things, but someone called Seamless does a lot of tutorials in purely FL Studio. So any plugins that come with FL Studio, that's all he'll use, and he makes some really big sort of bass sounds for dubstep and electro or whatever. So just search him down, Seamless, R, just Seamless, the word Seamless and then R at the end. He'll be able to talk you through that very well. Any more questions or? Good.
For putting the melody down, the chord structure, if you use a MIDI sort of input keyboard, will that record while it's going, or
you can have it record, like if I just select a section here. put a new pattern down. And FL Studio has a record button here. You can record. I use automation and store. That basically records any sort of MIDI input that comes in. So if I press play, it'll count me in, and then I just I can't because I don't have an instrument selected, but we'll just select the select that again, and so if you're sort of FL Studio sort of it'll snap the notes to quantize the notes into what snap you have. I accidentally had the snap at a bar, so it put everything at the beginning here. But so I have you can put it on non, and it'll record exactly how you play. So if you're like a competent piano player, or you can record the MIDI input straight into FL Studio. It's also a very good way of having that natural feel, because it'll also, as you can see here, I'll just drag the notes out. It's also recorded the velocity at which I hit the note, which is down here. So that's also very good for imitating how you play piano. If you don't play piano all at the exact same velocity, and that's also a way of making piano sound a lot more human, rather than piano sounds really bad if you use them at a constant velocity. I don't have any good piano sound except FL Keys, so I'll demonstrate with that. FL Keys doesn't sound very good, but it's good enough for explaining what I'm trying to say. I'll just make a real simple sort of thing here. Put that back on. Recording. Alright, so those are all very, completely flat in velocity. No one plays like that, no one can play like that except a robot. So, to make that sound more human, you, sort of kind of imagine yourself playing, or play it yourself, but I can imagine sort of pressing the first one a lot harder, than that's just how I play, but I'm not a very good player. Just sort of make it random a bit. Doesn't have to be specific or anything. Also, length and start time can also be shifted a tiny bit to emulate that how human play. So you can change those slightly.
I have a question.
Did I hear a question?
Yeah.
Yes, hang on. On my way.
What do you think about using I think it's in the wrist machine, there's automatic
The wrist
humanization.
machine,
Yeah.
The wrist machine, right.
Just for the humanization of the notes.
Yeah, that is a good idea, but I personally I don't know how to use that. I've never really used a wrist machine, but I wouldn't know how to sort of I don't know what I was doing, but I don't know how. That's my experience with this wrist machine. I don't know. It does. Wrist machine does have sort of randomization presets in them for sort of piano playing or rhythms or drum rhythms. I think Are they in? Do you know FL Studio? Do you know where I can demonstrate? Fair enough then. Like I think the sort of rhythm things are in my sidebar here, but I can't see them right now, so I'll just skip over that. But yeah, if you look into how to use a virtual machine, that's also a quick way of randomizing sort of if you're doing piano things or real instruments, you can give that a humanish feel. Yeah.